The rise of capable AI agents is going to have a massive impact on observability. Let's go over 3 ways I think and I hope that it will. Agents are not just writing code now. They're being used for every step of the software development lifecycle, from ideation to design, to implementation, to deployment, to resolving issues in production, and more. Whether we like it or not, we're in the middle of a transition to self-driving products. This looks like agents solving issues in production for us, agents improving products based on user behavior, and us stepping in to steer the agents when we need to. If you're a software provider, the quality of the feedback loops that drive this self-driving product lifecycle is going to be paramount. These loops will directly impact the quality of your products and the speed at which you're able to roll out new features that make your customers happy. Now, this is where observability comes into the picture. The quality of these feedback loops is heavily dependent on the quality and quantity of the data you have about your systems. Agents live and breathe context. The better the context, the better the results you will have. To effectively resolve unforeseen issues in production, your agents need the ability to slice and dice information about your systems. To independently improve your products, they need to be able to deeply understand the behavior of your users. And to help you identify what to build next and how to steer the agents in the right direction, you need the ability to answer meaningful questions yourself. To me, that sounds like the perfect use case for, dare I say it, Observability 2.0. Telemetry stored in one place in a format that supports high cardinality and high dimensionality. A high dimensionality single source of truth allows you to preserve the context you and your agents need to dive deep. If you want to deliver great feedback loops, then you probably should be moving in that direction. This leads me to the first form of impact that agents will have on observability, a migration to unified data stores. With the rise of agents, I think we will finally see the migration of holdout companies from the 3 pillars model of independent data stores to unified data stores. It's important to note here that I'm talking specifically about software system telemetry data. And downstream of that, if they cannot adapt their offerings or can't market their way out of it, providers that only support the independent data store architecture of old will lose a lot of customers and a lot of money. Having your system telemetry in separate places with a limited ability to make connections between the data just doesn't make sense anymore. It probably never did. Previously, the move to unified modern data stores was incentivized primarily by cost savings. Decreasing cost is important, but it's not necessarily business critical. Nor was the savings of that cost guaranteed by a migration to the new model. So, naturally, people have dragged their feet. Agents, and particularly the adoption of agents by competitors, are a forcing function. Good agentic feedback loops and the rich observability context that enables them will, at some point, be required to keep up in the marketplace. It's important to note here that right now I'm talking about only the locality of data. I feel less confident that companies will adopt unified data stores and a single source of truth data model at the same time. If that holds true and single sources of truth are overlooked, optimal slicing and dicing is not going to be a reality. But it's still a step in the right direction, and agents will be able to work with that data to some degree. And the nature of observability data being most relevant when it's fresh means that the data type can be improved over time. The only type of data we've talked about so far is software system telemetry data. What about other types of data? That brings us to Impact 2, a transition to business-level context hubs. Having all of your system observability data in one place is valuable. But why stop there? If the tooling supports it, why not put all of the data coming out of your business into one place? Data about the systems, how users are interacting with those systems, how the business is operating, and more. That way, agents have all the context they need not just to enable self-driving products, but to enable a self-driving business. Well, lucky for us, the tooling does support that now. So I think that the scope of the data that is in these data stores is going to naturally expand. Having all of your data in one place makes it so you can answer the meaningful, interesting questions about your business that you wouldn't have been able to answer before. Here's an excerpt from Charity Majors that really resonates with me. Every truly interesting question we ask as engineers is some combination or intersection of business data and application data. We do no one any favors by chopping them up and siloing them off into different tools and data stores for consumption by different teams. Now, the end result of this, some people might call a context hub. Others might call it a context warehouse or a context data lake. That doesn't matter that much. What really matters more than the naming is that context is in one place, and the system being observed goes from a software system to the entire business as a system. That empowers agents to iteratively improve upon your business. The final impact that I think agents will have on observability is that we're going to go from the status quo of being idle with our data to action on that data. For many companies, observability has historically been more about amassing data than actually acting on this data. A lot of why I think many organizations haven't moved to this new model of unified observability is that they haven't been acting on their data, so they don't know what they're missing. Now, just to keep up with their competitors, companies can't just amass a bunch of context. They need to feed that context back into their feedback loops so agents can get to work. That's a great outcome. Action will justify the cost of the context accumulation, which wasn't necessarily justified in the past. Businesses will get better, products will get better, and in theory, customers will be happy more often. My hope is that this movement to action via agents also leads to humans using that data themselves. Otherwise, and probably still, we will reach a point where agents almost universally understand the inner workings of our products better than we do. And then, who's really in control?